Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching. It is late night America on the American Doofus channel, and we've got a lot to talk about. Lori Arnold may be joining us. She said last night she was going to call back in tonight to finish out our interview. Hopefully that happens. But we've got some breaking news we need to get to right now, and that is in Memphis, Tennessee. This gentleman right here, nice suspect, has been going around Memphis randomly shooting people and live streaming it. It's just a sign of the times. There appears to be a body on the sidewalk here, Poplar and Auburndale, and the Memphis Police Department have not released any information at this scene where the suspect carjacked a driver. Alcohol, tobacco, and firearms are out there, and the Memphis Police Department, as well as Tennessee State Police, are issuing a stay-at-home order, ordering people to shelter in place, not go outside. And hold on just a second. I'm just getting this in. Apparently, there is a car chase now going on, and it has gone into Arkansas. So they are police and law enforcement are pursuing a suspect in this. Again, a 19-year-old. We have a picture of him simply because. Let me pop that picture back up there. We have a picture of him simply because he was live streaming all of this activity. This has been about 2 hours ago that this actually broke, and yet it's not on a lot of mainstream media, not on a lot of media at all. And again, a developing story. 19-year-old suspect has been going around Memphis randomly shooting people and live streaming it. So if you happen to be in that area, by all means, stay inside and watch this show, and stay away from doors and windows. And hopefully this will end very soon, and hopefully will end without too much destruction. Hi, Sissy. Hi, Rapunzel. Conspiracy Ant. Good evening. Hi, Lori Arnold. No, I can talk. No, let's talk tonight. I had to get that breaking news out. You go ahead and call. We're all set up here. If you want to call in instead of jumping on, and I will. We'll talk for a few minutes. I'm not going to keep Lori on here forever or anything like that. So yeah, Lori, go ahead and call in if you'd like to. Or you can try to hop on here so that people can see you. Von Michelle. Okay, they might have got him. There was a pursuit going on. I don't have that. I didn't get that. I don't have that information yet. I hope that's the case. Hi, Lisa Hurley. Pam is jamming. How are you? Yeah, Von Michelle, if you've got a solid that they have got him, that's a positive thing. In the meantime, here's Lori Arnold. Hi, Lori.
Hi, Lori.
How are you?
Tonight I came over next door where they have free Wi-Fi.
Oh, good. All right, good. Thank you for coming on. Like I said, we're not gonna keep you too long because I know you do your streams. You talk to people on your own. You talk on your own platform. Hang on here a second. There we go. Okay. Okay, he's in custody. The guy that was randomly shooting people is in custody. Okay.
Good.
Have you changed
Have you
since
changed
since your trip to DC?
since your trip to DC?
For sure. Yeah, I have. Do you want
How
me to
so?
explain?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, please.
I wouldn't say like as far as like political, my political view country, but I would say that what has changed is my perception of maybe vision is a good way to put it. People that are opposition, because it seems like we're a country, and I'm guilty of just being able to take I get whichever media source or whatever that I get my opinions, and so I've kind of gotten a little bit of my eyes open by being able to talk to people and to experience violence directed towards, which I never thought I would ever experience in my life. So all that has really changed. I want to interact maybe even more in the future.
Yeah. I say on here a lot, if you only look
I say on here a lot, if you only look
one way, you're only going to see one thing.
see one thing.
And a lot of us tend
Yeah.
to only look
And a
at
lot
one
of us
media, and we only get that
and we
one
only get
view.
that one view.
Yeah, that's what I've been asked me, like, how can you believe this? And I always say, well, I mean, and I always tell them, I think it's because we get different media sources. I don't think either we're crazy for believing what we believe. It's because we get it from different media sources.
Right. And until we start talking,
And until we start talking,
can you turn your volume down a little bit? Because I'm echoing back
Yeah.
in.
Let me get you off of this thing.
There we go.
Is that?
That's better. Yes, thank you.
Let's see.
Feedback. Okay. Big echo, big echo. All right. I think we're good now.
Okay, is that better?
We're good now.
Okay. Is that okay right here?
Let me talk and see if it echoes. It does just a little bit, but
It does just a little bit, but
well, I was trying to get it off of there. I'm not very savvy on technology.
actually, that was the next thing I was going to talk about. You haven't been a live streamer other than like the past since you got to DC, basically, right?
Well, I started my activism back at home, so I would do things on stream a little bit here and there, just little thing,
Mhm.
And I started actually on Facebook. I would go to school board meetings and just stuff, and I would live stream there. But it was small, and then I started live streaming on Facebook, and I found I just didn't like it because I wanted to have the looking through a camera and always having people watching me all the time. So I just didn't do the live streaming anymore there. But when we got to DC, that's for DC, and then right on DC is when I started live streaming, like for real.
And what have you learned from that?
Well, I don't think it's as big a shock to me as it is to some other people, because activism, I put myself out there, and I've been doxxed so many times a long time ago, realized that anything that I had in my past, be able to face up to, and I have to, like, in my people who know who I am and know my activism, and I have to face them every day. So I've learned to live with all a long time ago. So by being attacked and having their families attacked and stuff, I'm used to that.
Yeah.
So it didn't really shock me like I think it did some of the other people.
But once you got to DC, you said you'd done some live streaming back here in Indiana, the school boards and stuff. But once you got to DC, the chats, you became a personality. The chats blew up. You're dealing with mods. You're dealing with trolls.
I don't know what. I understand trolls because I had that on Facebook. I had it like in. I don't understand mods, and I don't understand speech. I just want everybody to say whatever the hell they want on my stream, but I guess you can't really do that. You might get kicked off. I mean, there's certain things now, especially can't say.
There are certain things that you cannot say, that you can't mention, even in chats, that will get channels taken down, which I think sucks. That's censorship.
Yeah,
it's not freedom.
It's not freedom.
And like, there's so many people that try to purposely do that so that you get shut down. Funny.
Yeah. I've got
when they shout free speech.
Yeah, they want free speech for themselves, but not necessarily for anybody that disagrees with them.
Well, that's what I always say is freedom, especially like freedom of speech. What that really means is that speech, but you have to give the people that you absolutely disagree with their freedom of. You have to let them have it.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you've learned about people that were in opposition, or that you automatically assumed were against you. The more that happens, the more that we talk with people that we don't necessarily think we will agree with, the easier it is to find common ground.
Oh yeah, definitely. He and I.
Yeah.
We would never have talked in the real world.
Right. But you and AP are a prime example.
But now, oh yeah, and I don't know. I by people who believe the same things I do necessarily, because I find it rather boring.
A lot of people have to have an echo chamber.
It's nice
a lot
of people have to have an echo.
Yeah, go ahead. It's
I got
nice
to see a little bit more person. It's nice to be able to get to, like, with AP, because I was working with her, and I'm not, I myself, but my experience with her was to be able to see maybe a different side people would see, and through her, and maybe just being able to get their side of things, and like I said, I'm now experiencing some of the stuff that they have been to them, and I maybe didn't believe it so much, and now I do believe violence that is actually put upon the left that's violent too. I'm seeing things that I didn't know.
Yeah. And the extreme far right, everybody that doesn't think like them is automatically labeled leftist and Antifa, and that's not true at all.
No. I'm the farthest fine, I think, just for a woman anyway. It's like everybody has their boogeyman. The far right has Antifa, Nazi. I mean, it's like they have their. I feel like I've always said this, that I feel like the two extremes are fighting a war, and kind of somewhere in that middle area where we just want to live our lives, let everybody else live, to kind of work the kinks out where we have problems.
Right. Okay. One thing that I want you to kind of go into depth about, that I think people will want to know, when the restraining orders were handed out to you and Aunt, can you kind of go through that? It was kind of hectic. From your perspective, what happened that night? because it sure looked like
Well,
they
my
were
cam.
trying really hard to get Ant out of the van and over to where you were, because they knew what was coming.
Okay, so this is I can tell you the things that I remember from that night, just off my top of my head.
Yeah.
People saying that what was weird was that they had all the front of the gate. I wasn't over there yet, but I was hearing it like in my chat or something, and I thought that was kind of okay, strange. So I actually, it's really told. I had texted my boyfriend and told him it's going to happen tonight. I had a bad feeling about that night. And then they had all those cameras lined up there, and we got our costumes on, and we walked over there, and and received and gave whatever, and that they started coming towards Ant, and he was kind of wanting to get away, over to Virginia, and but Oreo Express, he was getting over there and getting in his way. So saying so, and I thought he was talking about level 2 violence, and so back to him, and the next thing, like, because I had been talking to Buff for a little bit there, and so this all was kind of distracting. There was a police officer there yelling about, saying that he had told us to separate. Or I kind of tend to zone out when talking to somebody. I have this ability, protester. I have the ability to just drown everybody out that's heckling person. If you're heckling me, I can really just, I don't care. And so I was listening to Buffalo Man, and then I would like pay attention to, between the two of them, I never even saw the cop till he was screaming at us, and make sure that Ant was okay, because I know the cops have it in, the one lady that he talks about, the lady police officer, she was, they have a hard on to put him back in jail. The Berkeley Sheriff's Department, it was trying to keep my camera on them, and they kept trying to separate us. And I because he thought he was going to jail, so he gave me his wallet automatically, and his camera, so they wouldn't take it. And so I was trying to keep listening to the police officer who was trying to tell me about the restraining orders, and they them for all of us, all 6 of us or whatever. I think it's they have, I'm not sure, but they had stacks of them, and started telling, and I can't really talk too much about that, except that I got 6 restraining orders.
Right. Yeah. I don't want you talking about the legal part now.
Yeah, I don't want you talking about the legal part.
Yeah. No, but the restraining orders, and by that time, camera from me, and he had taken off. Like I said, he was able to get his way out of there, and he left, I think, as quickly as possible. I'm a little slower to go, so I walked over, and Virginia, I was being a smart ass, and I did yell, "I'm in Virginia," which immediately there was a police officer there who told me I had to be 1,000 feet. I was just being a smart ass, I know. He said pretty much, you can go, just don't come back. I went and met up with Ant at Denny's. We sat and talked about what had happened, what our plans were, and when the bag that Oreo Express Josh had tried earlier and that I wouldn't accept out at Bunker Hill, it had like all cop on it, and I think that's what it had on, and then it had like a defund the police, and so when I left, the police had me leave, I didn't have that bag, and when we came out, I saw a black a black thing on the purse. And I was like, who got, at first I thought he dropped it because I'm kind of ditzy. It was in my car. So somebody got in my car and dropped my purse out there. And then it was that bag, which meant somebody had followed me there. My vehicle, it was right in the way, so both Aunt and I couldn't leave without hitting the bag. I decided to call the police. It was time, because that's stalking them. But this is not the first time they followed me to wherever I eat, and tried to intimidate me and do silly things like that. So, and on the bag, you know,
Now,
at this
did
point, I don't trust these people.
did they remove the bag eventually? Because we didn't
Good.
see that, because you guys had to quit
Yeah.
broadcasting because they were afraid the signal might trigger an explosive if
because they
something was in there.
An explosive if something was in there.
Yeah. So Oreo expressed to the police that he did this. Okay. So, because the police they had talked to him, and he had told them that it was just a joke. It was supposed to be funny. That what was in it was like nail polish, hair dye. I don't know why, but there was a box of Oreo cookies in there, and we were like, "Oh, that's yeah." I mean, you know, but but how much money they must have cost, because literally the ladies and they like couldn't even barely get to their car. We had police there. We weren't even went and got my dog out of the car. But you know, I mean, like they were talking about on the bag that Oreo left there. It had defund the police, so they were even more than normal about this bag.
Yeah.
So how much money did that cost? You know, half an hour. You know, it's ridiculous.
Thousands of dollars in overtime for police.
In overtime.
Yeah. Well, you heard that police officer yell when he came. Heard him say and it was to Josh and them. It seems like that they had other jobs to do. They had other real crimes to be. Been down here way too much, and that's the truth. I do feel bad for the police officers. I feel sorry for them, and I have apologized to them many times. I say, I'm not here to bother you. You know, I'm here to counter protest them, and I'm not here to bother you. But they're caught. They're good or bad. They're still caught in the middle.
Yeah. Well, we haven't had the
calling for no reason.
We haven't had the.
Yeah. And how many times? I mean, probably 30 times police were called out there.
Police were called out there.
Mm-hmm. Well, look at how many times we've been got swatted because they like a mental check on him while he was driving around in DC. They've swatted me twice when I first got there for my animals. First with the animal control, and then after that over, and it was all live stream. They swatted me again with the police for the same thing, and it's just I've seen it blaming any certain person, because some of it could be online, but from either side, when people call in false reports or police for things that just aren't worth bugging them for.
Yeah. Well, thank you for giving us your time.
Thank you for giving us
for letting me on.
We don't have the best signals in Indiana always, as far as, you know, and we've been getting some echo through this, but yet I think everybody's been happy to be able to hear what you have to say.
Well, I hope it was okay to you.
Yeah, it's okay. And come back on anytime. I'm serious. Anytime. We don't,
okay.
There are other channels that are kind of mean and rude to people. We're not like that. We're going to let you come on and talk.
not like that.
I like the Lear's better because it is nice to be able to just talk with people.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Lori. Have a great night, rest of your
Thank
night.
you.
Are you going to be live streaming later?
Bye.
Bye.
Be live streaming later?
Yes, here in a minute.
Okay.
Bye.
All right. Everybody be ready to hop on. Lori's going to be live streaming here later. And thank you very much for hopping on with us. That's Lori Arnold, everybody. Let me turn off. Okay. Hello. Thank you all for watching. If you got comments, if you have questions, pop into the chat. Hi, Joy. BTM Sparky, Cunning Stunt, Turnip Greens. Let me go back up. Oomph Calvarist. I love that name. I'm not sure exactly what it means, but it's just one of those intriguing names. Yeah, the audio was breaking up a little bit. There are a lot of places in Indiana where satellite signals and cell phone towers are, there are a lot of dead zones, a lot of spots that the signals are not strong at all. And where Lori's at up by Goshen, it's not always the best signals. Thank her so very much for coming on here and for giving us some of her time. And I want to say something here too. While I was chuckling at what had happened with the bag, from the police perspective, that was a very serious matter. Yeah, they meant it as a joke, and we said that night that I didn't think there would be anything nefarious in there as far as explosives, but in these times, you can't tell that, and with the animosity between the two groups, so I don't want anybody thinking I was downplaying the seriousness of it. But just the idea that he put Oreos in there. I mean, I can't believe Nabisco or their parent company hasn't done something about him yet, legally, because he uses their name, and supposedly from some reports he's made up to $500,000 doing that. So anyway, let me hop over here into the chat real quick. I don't know what to think about it at this point. Was thinking about sending a $1 Cash App with a message. Are you talking about to Lori Cunning Stunt? Oh, hey, thank Lori for the interview. Yeah, and it's my pleasure. And we'll do this same thing with Defender of Ants, with Anarchy Princess, with the Squirrels, with Telescope, with JJ. Anybody that was associated that wants to come on and have a neutral platform where they can talk and they're not going to get talked over, they're not going to get shouted down, they're not going to be told they're stupid or they're wrong or they're whatever. We will do that. We'll do that here. There's no way to thank Lori for the interview because she has a rogue mod who shuts us up. Okay. I've heard that. And I mentioned mods earlier, not for that point, just because mods have become such factors in what we do as far as having an online presence. And I'm incredibly grateful for Sissy and for others that mod on here. The one thing I didn't ask Lori that I wanted to was if she regretted at all doing what she's done. And I just have a feeling, she has no regrets. And I hope we talk again. I'm not sure what she's doing now, and but we will keep track on it. She's going to be live here in a little bit, so hop over there and give her a view. I was not on BTM as advertised. There was there was a last minute technical difficulty, and we have to reschedule, and we're going to reschedule. I'm usually the one that's doing the interviewing and not the one being interviewed. So it was going to be a little bit of a role reversal. I was kind of excited about it because it was going to be something new and different, and we'll do it. We'll do it. We just didn't get to do it tonight because some things happened, and yeah, there's Joy. Sorry, everyone. We will have American Doofus on BTM. I will be on BTM at some point, and because they've, like I said, it was the last minute. They had their questions prepared. They were all ready to go. I was all ready to go, and because of a technical difficulty, we couldn't get it done tonight. Thank you. I hope you will. I hope you all catch it when possible. Echo Romeo 2. Man, thank you for being in here, first of all. Second of all, thank you for your voice. Hearing things from you, not that anybody that was on the ground should be discounted, because they shouldn't be. They put in the work. But hearing from Echo Romeo 2, Eddie, I just, as I said last night when Lori and I first talked, I just found that incredibly important towards getting people to see that what 1776 restoration movement was presenting to the public was not, and is not, in my opinion, what they really are and what they really have been. And thank you, Eddie, for doing what you did. Golden Chariot. Golden Chariot apparently is starting his own movement. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Yeah. Echo Romeo 2, thank you. Thumbs up from Cunning Stunt. Paw Patrol, how are you? And everybody, thank you all that are in here watching. If you have questions or anything, pop them in the chat. I'm going to go ahead and do a quick look at our breaking news, which we do every time we do one of our late nights. Canadian stabbings suspect Miles Sanderson has been taken into custody. His brother was found dead. They killed 10 people and injured 14 others in stabbing attacks in Saskatchewan, Canada. Check here to see if your home will be impacted by California's rolling outages. If you're in California or Texas, either one, possibilities of power outages coming due to extreme heat. The Obama presidential portrait was unveiled, and normally the presidential portraits are unveiled in the presidency preceding it, but Trump wouldn't allow the Obama portraits to be put up in the White House. Las Vegas police search a local official's home. A journalist was stabbed to death, and they do have the person now in custody on this one. I do know. And as far as our breaking news at the top of the show, according to and some legitimate people in the chat, that he has been apprehended. So that's a very good thing. And then judge ordered for Trump's special master is deeply flawed, legal experts say. And those legal experts include Bill Barr, the former attorney general, the former top-ranking lawyer in America, and Donald Trump's attorney general. Environmental activist warns of dire electricity crisis in California due to incompetence. And that's a look at our breaking news. as far as 1776 at the moment. This is from Stormtrooper, and he says this could be their next camp. So I don't know. Looks kind of like a hotel to me, but nonetheless, we'll find out if they do indeed pop up somewhere else. I kind of felt like the reason they did the restraining orders when they did was because they planned to be somewhere in West Virginia. And as you know, otherwise, why would they have gone to all that trouble for just two days? But that's just an observation. I don't know that to be fact, but I think they're on their way out, but they're not going to give up easily. And I think we are seeing that they were not necessarily a religious movement. They weren't trying to actually bring morality, and possibly, it was a cover for something potentially criminal. I know there have been a lot of allegations, and we've talked about a lot of those on here, and we'll continue to talk about those because if indeed people were donating money thinking that they were one thing when they were in fact something totally different, that's called fraud. And those people that donated that money can sue and potentially get that money back. So not that all of them are going to want to, but there are going to be some people that are going to have their eyes open and might decide that they were hoodwinked, if you will. Where is Santa now? He's at the North Pole with elves, making toys for all the good little boys and checking, got his list and checking it twice. David Rydell, as far as we know, is still in the Berkeley County area of West Virginia. And that was a joke, of course, Paul. There are a lot of people that are suspecting that there might be some form of human trafficking going on, especially people that have experience in those kind of things. And if pedophilia is going on, they're going to have victims, and that's one reason we've been focused on this, is to stop it totally in its tracks. It's not there yet, but it's a lot closer, and it's a lot closer thanks to Lori Arnold, thanks to Defender of Ants, thanks to Anarchy Princess, thanks to the squirrels, Freedom Squirrel and Red Squirrel and Jersey Jay and Telescope and Pluck the Patriarchy and who am I forgetting? West Virginia Peacekeeper. The people that actually went out there and caused us to pay attention and caused us to start investigating. And don't discount open source intelligence. Don't discount, and by open source intelligence, I mean intelligence that's done over the internet by non-professional people, by non-law enforcement people in this case. Now that it doesn't mean that everything that's going to be put out there is going to be right or correct. It just means that there are going to be so many eyes going back over all these videos looking for little tiny things, and there are going to be things that are going to be discovered because of people like a lot of you in the chat, like a lot of you watching right now, because the people that want to see this stopped, if it is indeed something illegal. And a lot of people have that feeling in their gut that there's something going on there. And just from a common sense view, if a majority of your group, or even a minority of your group, if a significant number of your group labels themselves, if they are self-labeled outlaw, that has to make you question, if you are not an outlaw, what was going on, what is going on, what do they have planned? What do they have planned? What we're hearing, what we have heard, is that it's going to be a kind of a pay-per-view cult, that you're not going to be able to see their live streams unless you're a member of the cult, and which the only one. And when I started investigating all this, when I started reporting all this, I went to the 1776 live streams, and I went through them one by one, and in each time I said, for, I don't remember the exact words, but it was like, it was for full disclosure, I'm an independent journalist and I have a question. And in all of them, except for two, all the chats except for two, I was automatically deleted. I was automatically deleted. They didn't want independent journalists talking about whatever they were doing. And they don't want independent journalists talking about whatever they are doing. Otherwise, they would have had somebody in that organization contacting journalists trying to tell their story. Instead, they told their story to a very select audience, and they kept that audience select by deleting anybody that questioned anything. And that in and of itself, big picture wise, is something that is a huge red flag, in my opinion. Dean Wall, how are you? Hold on a second. Dean Wall's here. I've got to do something real quick. I'm not going to be able to read for a couple of moments here, but Dean Wall is a big fan of Ant's pineapple glasses, as a lot of people were. And Dean wanted me to put on some funny glasses at one point, because he thought it would increase viewership. I know he was joking, and we joked back and forth. So this is for everybody that likes funny glasses. I do have some. Turn that off. So thanks, Dean, for being here. MT Native. Okay, okay. 1776 has a list of people that are automatically banned. I'm not surprised about that at all, Joy. They groomed them to give them money. Absolutely. They groomed them with something Lori and I talked about. They groomed them into thinking that anybody that didn't agree with 1776 was automatically a leftist and a Antifa. Now, I'm anti-fascist, all right? If I was in Germany during World War II, I would not have been a Nazi, all right? I'm in America in 2022, and I am anti-fascist. I'm not Antifa. There's a difference. There's a difference between believing that Black lives matter, and believing that not only Black lives, but all lives matter. But we have to specifically say, we had to, and we still have to specifically say Black lives matter, because it's a reminder to some people that Black lives do matter, because in their opinion, they don't. And if there weren't people like that, we wouldn't have to say that. And just because I say that, every once in a while, doesn't mean I was a member of BLM. And I wasn't. It doesn't mean there's a difference between believing in trying to have an America of equality and being a member of an organization. Okay. I'm not a member of a patriot organization. I consider myself a patriot. I consider myself a patriot in that I love this country. I fear the government, no matter if the government is Democrat or Republican. I fear what the government can do to us as citizens. I do. But I love this country, and I love the people, and I love the diversity, and I love the cultures that are different from my own, because it's such a unique experience. But too many people lock themselves in a box and don't ever venture out to see or to understand or to experience or to taste different foods or to hear different music. And my gosh, the different musics from the different music from different cultures, not only here in America but all around the world. It's a shame that more people won't open up their eyes, their ears, and most importantly, their brains, because closed-minded people, it doesn't make them bad. All right, it doesn't make them bad, but it puts them in a place where they can appear bad. They can appear crazy. They can appear evil. They can appear wicked. But it's because of ignorance. And while ignorance has a negative connotation, I'm ignorant on a lot of things. And things that I'm ignorant on, if I want to learn about, I don't have any problem doing that. A lot of people, if there are things they don't know about, that they're ignorant of, they fear that automatically instead of trying to understand. And that in and of itself is a big reason for the mass division we have in our country, in my opinion. I'm going to hop back over here into the chat for just a second. Molten Metal, how are you? I'm a vet. I used to say I was a patriot, but that word has been trashed recently. I totally agree. I did a whole episode on how 1776 Restoration movement was devaluing Christianity, was devaluing the word patriot, and was devaluing the flag. And while I have some compassion for Dom, for him getting kicked out, I've got compassion for him, the way they treated him. It doesn't mean that he's excused for his beliefs and stances and words, and at sometimes hate towards people that were not like him. And the fact that he used the flag, I wouldn't have cared if he'd had a big giant white flag, if he'd had a big giant pink flag, a big giant rainbow flag, a big giant black flag, I wouldn't have cared. But when he starts twirling the American flag around and starts humping it, I got a problem. That's me. All right. That doesn't mean everybody's going to have that problem, because everybody doesn't view things the way I do. And I understand that, and I respect that, and I appreciate that. And I let people have their views. And it doesn't mean I'm automatically going to hate somebody just because they think differently than me. But yes, absolutely, Molten Metal. The word patriot has been devalued, and I understand. You don't hear me say I'm a patriot very often, but I consider myself a patriot. I consider myself patriotic, and I have my standards on what patriotic means, and I don't expect anybody else to live up to those standards, because that's what freedom is. That's what freedom is. Freedom is people having the right to believe differently. And if you can't accept that and understand that, then you have no concept of freedom. All you have is a concept of narcissistic self-importance, and in many cases, white privilege, that you believe that you are right and everybody else is wrong that doesn't look like you, think like you, speak like you, sound like you. And that's an incredibly dangerous situation. And that's where our country is at right now. Wouldn't hate a nuanced discussion of patriotism versus nationalism? That's a great idea, Oomph. That's a great idea. And we'll do that. I'm almost at the end here because I keep it at an hour. More people watch this on the replay than watch it live. I love you people watching live. Thank you so much. Bless you. I'm honored. It's a privilege that you would give up some of your time to watch this show. And I'm grateful, but I like to keep it short. My ego is not big enough that I think I can sit online for 8 hours a day waiting on Ant to call, if you know what I'm saying. And that was a jab. That was a shot at somebody that doesn't treat women well, that doesn't treat people well, that tends to tear a lot of people down, and then when questioned says, well, who are you to judge? Sorry, I got a problem with that. But that's cool, because this is a great big giant YouTube. There are a lot of tubes on YouTube. There are a lot of tubes in the interweb, a lot of places, and you can and you find people find their places. A lot of people like that dramatic, that gotcha, that I'm just not one of them, and I do it differently here. And occasionally, like right now, I will say something about something that I see that's wrong, but at the same time, I acknowledge they have the freedom to do what they want, believe what they want. I just don't have to watch. Bad Boy Aries, thank you. Thank you for being here, man. Lisa Hurley, don't shortchange myself. Fuck neo-Nazi voice. Well, Al Munson seems to know who I was talking about. Jameson, thank you for being here. Growing up in a small hick town where the American flag was always flown next to the Confederate flag really soured the image of the American flag for me. I can understand that. I can understand that totally. And that, you know what? Again, I'm getting ready to, we're getting close to the end here, but I had some things set up just in case something happened and we didn't get to talk to Lori. And I'm going to leave these. I'm going to leave these for the next episode, and it might be a recorded episode instead of a live. But I was going to go down here because where we are as a country isn't something that just started with the convoys and which morphed into 1776. Where we are as a country started at our founding, basically. But where we are right now, currently, we go back 5 years to what happened in Charlottesville. This doesn't get talked about. This doesn't get talked about. And things kicked off and have kicked off since because of that event. trying to take down the Robert E. Lee statue, the general of the Confederacy, and white nationalists. That's the term. Okay. Anyway, and one I'll just go ahead and show you one other thing I was going to do tonight if Lori wasn't on. And man, I'm so thankful Lori came on. I wish the signals would have been better, but nonetheless, incredibly brave. And I've said this before, all of the women that got out there and actually stood there with signs, whether they were vocal, whether they were entertaining, okay, because a lot of us it was entertainment, but hey, what was going on is incredibly serious because it's a microcosm of what's happening in our country. The other thing I wanted to I was going to play tonight, and I'm going to play again, that I'm going to go back not only 5 years to Charlottesville, but in the next episode or in a upcoming episode, I'm going to go back to the armed demonstrations in Louisville with Grandmaster Jay and the Angry Viking, because again, it's been a process to get to where our country is as divided as it is, and we're going to examine that coming up here soon. You should be called the Rational Doofus. Thank you, Gypsy. Here's how that the name came about. My partner at the time, Kay, Kay passed away shortly after. It was her idea to do this. I'd been a journalist and a photographer and a videographer I was hosting a morning show on September 11th, 2001, when the United States was attacked. So I was in radio at that time, and got into politics for about a 15-year period. And if you are in Indiana and you're in politics and you're not a Republican, you get blackballed, and people remember your name. So there weren't a lot of job opportunities after politics, but it's okay, because I went back into radio and I was doing news, and then I started writing for newspapers. Then I started writing for online. I wrote for a company called examiner.com, and they would buy my stories and my pictures and my videos, and then they would sell them to Yahoo News and other online news sources. So I got to cover Indianapolis 500s, like 5 different Indianapolis 500s. I got to cover presidential elections. I got to cover the Rolling Stones concerts, which was really cool. So I was doing entertainment and sports, and COVID hit, and entertainment and sports quit. And I was still doing news stories too, of course, but the money was coming in because of entertainment and sports. And COVID hit, everything shut down. There was no entertainment, there was no sports. And I was talking to Kay about what was going on in the world, and a lot like I do right here. And at one point she said, other people need to hear what you got to say. And I was like, eh. And every time I said something stupid, and a lot of times I did it on purpose, a lot of times I didn't, Kay would say, "You're a doofus." And I said, "That's American doofus to you." And she came back and started the show. She she set up all the sites. She called the show the American Doofus Show, and I came back one day and we did our first episode. So that's why I'm the American Doofus. But thank you for saying I should be the rational doofus. I appreciate that. Sorry about the grammar. Cooking spaghetti sauce. Lisa Hurley. Some of the people that are in here are from BTM, from Behind the Mirror, and we talk in other chats. Most of the time, when the chats are when I see a lot of the names that I'm seeing in my chat, and I love y'all being here. I see you in in the other chats, as far as whether it's 1776 or the opposition. And I'm not active in those chats. They're not going on now, but I have a feeling this isn't quite done yet. We're going to have to really put a nail into this 1776 thing to actually end it. And we might not be the ones to do it. Law enforcement might be the ones to do it. The government might be the ones to do it. But it's not going to go away on its own, unless it self-implodes, unless it implodes and self-destructs. But anyway, when the streams are going on and the people are in the chats, and I look at the chats, I'm taking notes of what's happening, so I don't get active in the chats. And when not much is going on the stream and I'm not taking notes, I'll read the chats. And you people are great. you guys are great. You really are. Okay, let me see. Thank you, Toby and Kelly Nephew. Thank you for the blessings. Darla, hi, new to your show. I like what I heard seen tonight. Thank you. A lot of people don't know about the show, and it's because of something called shadow banning. Like right now, the software I'm using, I can see the number of people that are watching. All right. And the number of people it's never the same as what YouTube posts. They do something called shadow banning. And one way of doing that is they limit the number of views that are displayed. I've got a friend, one of the guys that I get my earthquake information from, has over 500,000 subscribers and never has over 300 views, because what he says and the fact that he's unconventional, let's say, is scary. And I'm going to end with it. But why does that matter? Okay, well, if you're looking at YouTube and you're looking for something to watch and you see two videos, one of them says 15,000 views, and the other one says 300 views, and they're both about earthquakes, you're probably going to look at the one that 15,000 other people did instead of the one only 300 did. Okay. And also, our videos don't get promoted. My videos don't get promoted. You have to search for us generally. Either you have to search for the name, or somebody has shared the link. And it's not just, I've had people say, oh, your show sucks, that's why nobody watches. Well, a lot of people watch, and I'm incredibly grateful for that. And I want to come back over here real quick. Well, I'm going to end with this. Michigan Republicans told poll workers to secretly break the rules. This was in a meeting that was secretly taped during training sessions before the primary. And Michigan Republicans sued to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election. So, and that's today, okay? it's not a typo. September 2022, the GOP has filed a new lawsuit in Michigan to overturn the results of the 2020 election. And then the story right above it is that they told poll workers to secretly break the rules. So just something to think about. And this is what I wanted to show. Social media platforms collaborate with government agencies and systems to moderate the content. All right. So we are indeed being censored. And I've got kind of a dangerous show to the establishment, because I've had 3%ers on here. I've had Antifa on here. I've had Boogaloo on here. I've had black militia, white militia. I have people on that I don't necessarily agree with, because I want to hear why they are doing what they're doing. And I also talk about the Bilderberg group, and I talk about the oh my gosh, I can't think of the names. The Belize, and the other group that's in California, actually out there by Oreo. One group is incredibly rich males, and the other group is incredibly rich females, and it's the Belize group that is females. They don't meet in Belize; they meet in New York City. If somebody has seen those episodes, and because I can't, it's not coming to my head at the moment. Anyway, I talk about how the fact that the Bilderberg group is a worldwide group of the elite that meet in secret. For those that don't know, Bohemian Grove is the name I was trying to think of. Look up Bohemian Grove, look up Belize Grove, look up Bilderberg group. Okay. I'm not going to talk about any of them, because I'll get this video will disappear. But those groups exist. Google them if you don't know about them. It may be something you want to know about. Knuckles. Yes, man. There needs to be a platform that allows freedom of speech and what you think. Absolutely, there does. And we try to do that on here. And I believe that's what BTM wants to become. A platform that's not an echo chamber, a platform that it doesn't mean people aren't going to disagree with you, and doesn't mean they aren't going to disagree with you vehemently, but you're going to be heard. And that's what we tried to do here. And thanks for being here, Knuckles. I don't know if you've been here for a bit, but I was talking about Knuckles is an OG. And I mentioned, we've had a lot of different people on here, and Knuckles is one of them. And anytime you want to come back on, man, you're welcome. Always choose the underdog. Typo meanderings. I'm doing well as can be expected, Knuckles. I've had some cancer cut out, and I've had some back problems, and by the grace of God, I'm not flat broke, but I'm close enough that I can see the bottom. But it's okay. I've got a voice, I've got a platform to talk about truth. And it doesn't mean everything I say is always going to be truthful. I'm sorry, wait a minute, let me rephrase that. It doesn't mean everything I say is going to prove to be true. But when I say it, I believe it's truthful. Okay. I can be proven wrong is what I'm saying. And I will admit when I'm wrong. But the whole purpose of this is to tell the truth, because that is not the focus. It's not the focus of mainstream media. It's not. There are agendas. It's not the focus of a lot of different platforms, a lot of different um, YouTube channels. It is about um, it is about an agenda, and the only agenda here is trying to get everybody to listen to each other and not hate each other. And if we can accomplish that with even a few people, then good on us. So I'm going to end it with that. Thank you for watching. I hope you'll come back. I hope you hit that subscribe button, hit the bell so you know when we're on. But I'm just glad you gave us a shot if this is your first time watching. And we are live generally every Tuesday night for sure. And most times Sunday and Tuesday. It used to be Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, but Thursday night football is coming on, and I need a distraction. And I love football. I was able to go to college because of football, and I coached football. And I'm going to take Thursdays to watch football. So chances are you're going to find me live Sunday, Thursday, and probably Fridays, and then recorded otherwise, and special times like tonight, because we were going to have Lori on. And if something big happens, I'll be live. It's 11 p.m. Eastern, 10 Central, 9 Mountain, 8 Pacific generally. And then the recorded stuff that, I pop them up as needed. So thank you all for watching. I love you all. Dean, Joy, Gypsy, Knuckles, BTM Sparky, all of you, Cunning Stunt, everybody. If I haven't mentioned your name, it's not a slight. It's because it's an oversight. All right. I respect all of you. I love you all. Namaste. Shalom. Salam. Assalamu alaikum. If you're a fellow Christian, blessings in the name of the Most High, His Son Jesus, the Holy Spirit. And if you don't have any faith, that's fine. Peace, love, positive vibes. We can do this. We're not going to get everybody. We can unite. And I think we should. And I think it starts with a decision internally by each one of us. I love you. Thank you all for watching. Greatly appreciate it.